is everywhere.
No, I think that's
And
what
we would
it's
love you to
there.
read along with us. Okay, the healing example. It's on page 576. The only way to heal is to be healed. The miracle extends without your help. Needed that it can begin. Accept the miracle of healing, and it will go forth because of what it is. It is its nature to extend itself the instant it is born. And it is born the instant it is offered and received. No one can ask another to be healed, but he can let himself be healed, and thus offer the other what he has received. Who can bestow upon another what he does not have? And who can share what he denies himself? The Holy Spirit speaks to you. He does not speak to someone else, yet by your listening, his voice extends because you have accepted what he says. That particular part, I remember this now. The Holy Spirit is speaking to you, Karen. He's not speaking to anybody else here. And if you hear him, it's going to extend. And if you don't, it's going to stay in conflict. So you better start listening right now.
I think the 11th line is kind of strange. It says he does not speak to someone else. But I think it's just like what you're saying. When we're in conflict, the ego wants to say, the Holy Spirit is telling you
What you should
do. Right?
Right.
No. You just...
You're the one in conflict. The Holy Spirit doesn't need to speak to him about your conflict. He needs to speak to you, and then it'll extend.
Well, it's this same reiteration of, peace and busyness. And it seems like stillness and quietness are the conditions of the mind that have to be there to avail yourself of these healing answers. And so it's making more sense to me, all this workbook stuff, as far as the mental discipline of it. I truly do not see how you could separate the text from the workbook and have it be effective. Maybe some people can do it on their own, just thinking, I better exercise, but I...
Well, the instructions per the author, and I would think we want to follow instructions, since he keeps
guess.
telling us to follow instruction.
That's a
He
course.
says
That's
that
a course.
he does say that you need the theoretical foundation of the text to make the lessons in the workbook meaningful, but it is the doing of the lessons that make the goal of the course possible, which is another way of saying just what you just said.
That's a better way of saying it. Make
Well,
all of the course possible.
But that's what you just said. Now you understand why you need to learn how to be still. To make the goal of the course possible, which is to get these answers, you got to learn to be still. So he's saying, yeah, you need the theory that you need to be still, but you need the practice to be able to be still.
Yeah.
Because you can't be still until you practice it. It just doesn't happen just like that. You're so used to thinking. So you just said it perfectly. Bravo.
Who said that?
You said that. That was Judy.
That was Judy.
That was Judy. And now we hear from Rusty.
Okay. Page 577, paragraph 2. Health is the witness unto health. As long as it is unattested, it remains without conviction. Only when it has been demonstrated is it proved, and must provide a witness that compels belief. No one is healed through double messages. If you wish only to be healed, you heal. Your single purpose makes this possible. But if you are afraid of healing, then it cannot come through you. The only thing that is required for a healing is a lack of fear. The fearful are not healed and cannot heal. This does not mean the conflict must be gone forever from your mind to heal. For if it were, there were no need for healing then. But it does mean, if only for an instant, you love without attack. An instant is sufficient. Miracles wait not on time.
I love this idea in this section that it's the nature of the miracle to extend itself the instant it's born, and all we have to do is let it be born in a holy instant. And It's on its way.
Yeah, that is good.
Very cool.
It's interesting just identifying the nature of all this stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing that is required for healing is lack of fear.
And only an instant.
That's for an instant.
You only have to be for an instant. You'd think we could do that more.
Wouldn't you?
Well,
So what would be the cause of being afraid to be healed?
I talked about it.
it's
just
the
a
fear
couple-
of God. It's the fear well, we're having to be corrected. To be healed, we have to be corrected. And we're afraid that when we're wrong, we deserve punishment. So we resist hearing the correction, which would just free us from our conflict, because we have this fear of punishment and we have this fear of God. So we're afraid. And you can't be healed because when you're in a state of fear, you're pushing away the answer. And so that's why we need this practice workbook, because it teaches us to calm down even when we might be in a state of fear. Just give it up for a second. Just give it up with faith that you're not going to be condemned, you're not going to be punished. You're just going to receive a correction to a wrong perception, which does not mean you're guilty because you had it. You just were seeing things from a body identification, and now you want to shift to a spiritual identification. But when we think that the fact that we need to be healed means something's wrong with us, and don't we? I mean, or the fact that I'm in a state of conflict means I'm bad. You know, that's fear-producing, because it's saying that the separation is true rather than just a dream that needs to be corrected.
And one of the primary thoughts of the whole course is, when you're wrong, you're not guilty.
Right.
Yes, you're just wrong.
You're just wrong.
You need, it was a mistake. You need correction, not a sin that needs punishment. But that we need to hear a lot, because just kind of, I don't know, intuitively or something, emotionally, we have this fear of being bad and wrong and punished, kind of trained into it. So since this is all about correcting me, it's like, okay, so I did something wrong. Yikes. What does that mean?
Doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean anything for the Course. It doesn't. It means release is what it means. It's an opportunity to be released and to provide a witness, your health or your healing, from a diseased state of mind or a diseased state of body. It's the same thing. Health is just a peaceful state of mind, is a demonstration that the truth is true. So we're proving by these demonstrations of miracles that we choose that the Course's understanding of God as a loving source is true. That punishment and deprivation and sacrifice is not required to return to peace and to the heaven where we belong, right? So we're being living witnesses to truth, proving it, like a mathematical formula needs to be proved to be believed. He's saying we need to demonstrate this. Only when it has been demonstrated is it proved. So we can almost think of ourselves as little mathematical provers. A miracle worker is someone going around proving through the choice for this healed perception that what God has said throughout the ages, not just in the Course, through the Bible, that we deserve heaven because we are children of God, is the truth. Right?
And I think it does make sense if you can just get a glimmer of the holiness of somebody else. It does sort of dawn on me that there's a possibility that I also could be holy. But I do have to see it out there first, because I'm going to stand in judgment of myself until I see it witnessed out there.
That's perfect. Yep. Okay, now I don't remember.
Number 3.
Okay.
The holy instant is the miracle's abiding place. From there, each one is born into this world as witness to a state of mind that has transcended conflict and has reached to peace. It carries comfort from the place of peace into the battleground and demonstrates that war has no effects. For all the hurt that war has sought to bring, the broken bodies and the shattered limbs, the screaming dying and the silent dead, are gently lifted up and comforted.
So all of those would be states that appear in the dream of loss, where loss was real. it's lifted up and you see there was no loss. The truth is true. The war had no effects.